gave you a very short notice and he responded with alacrity. And it shows how duty conscious you are. I wouldn't waste time to introduce the speaker or the convener or the man at the center of this afternoon's press conference. He has a lot to share with you, and I believe what you say will provide all the sound bites, all the angles for your reportage. And I believe that given your professional pedigree, you do justice to this afternoon's press conference. So, ladies and gentlemen of the press, we have as the main speaker, Mr. Alfred Woyome. Chief, ladies and gentlemen of the media.
Thank you, Mr. Money. I am very grateful that I called you so late and asked that I want to talk to through the press to correct some misconceptions and through to what I expected. Mr. Money, you've done the very best in that. I have a time again to speak to the press. There have been issues about judgment that ongoing before the law courts of this country for a period of time now. A lot of you have wanted me to speak whilst others speak. But we have a system of judiciary here, and cases before them, we cannot just jump and be toiling our part because the cases are all before them for them to give us judgment. Many of the judgments have come out, and other issues aside it have come up. And the whole Ghanaian public, both residents in Ghana and externally and the international community, do not understand what the judgments actually are and what are the consequences, except that a lot of people have accepted to become commentators and are able to show papers here and there, confusing you further. This morning, I woke up by the grace of God to a new day. But I was also met with headlines of certain newspapers that made me think that the days of yesterday are gone. And I'm not going to allow people to continue deceiving the public for their own peculiar motives. So again, I thank you, and I'll go straight to the point why I'm here. I'm here purposely because of a purported check that was paid to the Attorney General of the Republic of Ghana. We have one country, and it's a republic. And we need to respect the country we have. We don't have any other one. And I don't think the Republic of Ghana, I here, as a citizen, proud one of course, will try to play pranks on fellow Ghanaians. No. No, not at all. The so-called check was written by me. I made a check without writing who is meant to, because I was confused as to who should be the recipient. And after a meeting with the Attorney General, in the presence of the Solicitor General and all these people, with agreement we signed with the state, in compliance with the judgment of the Supreme Court. I'm talking about the original judgment. And this check, I was told that there is a suspense account with EOCO. And I stated that it is not a criminal issue that I should be paying money to EOCO. And I was told that they will give me a receipt by the Attorney General. But that suspense account is controlled by the Ministry of Finance. Now, if anybody has a problem with a check, why don't you go and ask what are the consolidated? The people are collecting money and they will pay it to the state. I have done my duty, and that is it. Now, it is also erroneous to say that after Woyome said he is not going to pay money. No, that is also wrong and it's not true. I disagree with the Supreme Court judgment, and I will demonstrate that. And that matter is not finished. It has just begun. But we live under a constitution and we live under the laws of this country. And I will submit, and I have submitted myself to the law. For 5 years, a fellow citizen like yourselves have been treated this way for the crime that I felt that the government of Ghana owes me money, and I started negotiating. Constitution, I went to court. I felt that when I went to court, I won my case. After winning my case, I did not take gun on anybody. The court gave an order. And dutiful citizens of this country who may be in charge of government at that time obeyed the order of the court. The money that was paid to me was and is, I believe, my own money. And that money was paid not into account external, because I am not such person. It was paid into an account in the Republic of Ghana, ADB bank account, an account that is controlled by the Bank of Ghana and by the agencies of the Republic. It was paid to my personal account. Any disbursement from that account, the EOCO has taken it. They know everything. In fact, Martin Alami Suamidu, it says with the same account. But you cannot continue to be taking somebody's personal account, go jump into it, he spent this year, he spent this year, and create fictitious list as if I am a Father Christmas that get money and start distributing. No, my hard-earned money, I have sacrificed for this country, I have worked hard for this country, and I will enumerate that now. Why I will pursue this case to the issue is that I will do as a citizen of this country to defend businessmen. It can happen to anybody, and it's happening. The law, Article 181(5), is not supposed to have been interpreted by the Supreme Court. It's supposed to have been interpreted by the Parliament of the Republic of Ghana. But see, maybe they've done that. Parliament has not done its duty till now. This article is making everybody internationally to think that we are a 419 country. How can you come to this country and you get a contract signed with the government and the president and all the people, and you know you have got a contract, and then you start expending money, and you do all that, like the water case. You start putting infrastructure. Then the same government who signed a contract with you, backed by a Supreme Court so-called judgment, will come and say, I did not send the contract to Parliament, and because of that, I'm not paying you. Or if I have paid you, give me my money. Why? It's not 419. This is a state, this is a country. We live as part of the international community. And this oppressive and deceitful law must be looked at, and I will fight it until this, my country, when I go somewhere and I am talking about my country, I will be more proud. I am not doing this because I'm from Woyome. I am doing this because I've been quiet. Understand me, not because I don't have a story. Understand me, please, my fellow citizen, you've been deceived by two sides of the political perspective. You've been deceived. I have not spoken. So
conjecture, talks, and all this one, it should stop now. I believe that the media should do a better work by interrogating the issues by themselves through research and looking into the judgments that have been delivered. We have only one country, we don't have two. And this country, we have that to accommodate everybody, whether you are a Efe, Hausa, or anybody, whether you are black, white, or anybody, whatsoever you come from, we must accommodate everybody. Whichever you find yourself in, whether you are a young guy trying to get job and everything, job is dependent on what we businessmen do. And I have not lost faith in my country. I will never lose faith in my country. I have made sure that I am a law-abiding citizen. I have never accused the judiciary because it's an appellate system. But when I feel that I am being persecuted, now I'm very convinced about that, I will mention it. It is the duty of every Ghanaian to defend every article, every letter of the Constitution. It is the duty of the Supreme Court to interpret it. And therefore, for me, as a citizen, I will defend every word and every part of the Constitution. Whatever it will take for the Supreme Court to depart from this decision concerning me, it's just the beginning. Number one, I am not from Azerbaijan, as I've been saying. I'm a Ghanaian. Article 181 is not meant for me. It's not meant for any Ghanaian. A Ghanaian, you do business with your government. Nobody is expecting that the things to be affected by Article 181. It has been defined. That if one day have been explained by the Supreme Court, although not, they are not supposed to do that. You have to be a foreign entity. You have to have a control from foreign country. You have to have an office in a foreign country. And you have to be a foreigner. Am I not a Ghanaian? If you are saying that a fruit of mine has come out of that one, clothe me with my Ghanaian powers. Clothe me with that, and I will show it why I am saying so. Because today, it is Alfred Woyome. My family and larger ones have suffered the name, the songs, people, political parties have done, and all that, and it's another election, and people who want to just, are still singing on it. Please, I will explain to you what actually is the issue. I don't want to go personal, and I will not go personal, because I am above that. Those people who are going personal on Facebook and all those ones, their time shall come. Those ones, we will deal with it. Right now, it's an issue concerning and touching on the Supreme Court and its decision and how it's understood and how the media have been misled into reporting. Now, the check I wrote to the age, that check, I wrote it, and that check have been paid, and that check has cleared. Anybody who wants to know, have means to know how to know whether the check has been cleared. It is not faked. The number of people who are ready to help me pay this money are too much. I have worked with a number of people, and they are angry. You are young people here. Sometimes you don't know what you are doing. But as you are doing it, it may affect you. So do things properly. Because it's not everybody who is happy about this. And the way the Supreme Court has dealt with my case, with landmark changes and things, it's also another issue. The justices of the Supreme Court, I give my respect to them. But the issue is that if they've erred, they have erred. But they have erred because they've been misled. And I will insist and press on it until the justice is done. Because this judgment will be used on anybody, because it's a precedent. And it must not happen. Now, when we are talking about borrowing, political risk and financial risk of Ghana has risen high. Why? Because of this very issue. We are calling people to come and establish a job here. And you are telling me that when the people come here, they have a dealing with the government can choose to send, I am not supposed, or any other person is supposed to carry a contract to Parliament for approval. I'm not clothed with that power. So why should I be affected by that? I shouldn't be affected by that. Not that you're a foreigner who has brought his money here, be affected by that. I have have issues with those judgments. A country, the people make their law. And if the law does not serve them, you repeal them or you correct them. That is it. Now, the issue and the erroneous impression that after Woyome said he will not pay is not true. From the very moment that the judgment was given, I said I disagree. And I served notice from the international courts that we are there. But I've been advised that, which I believe so, that I must make some effort. And making the effort, there is a particular attorney in the Attorney General Department. The least said about it, the better. We made a lot of effort to say we want to pay this amount by so and so time, this amount by so and so time. The media say, yeah, you said so, and you are not. They should ask the attorney whether they accepted. They frustrated the acceptance of this payment arrangement until we had to repeat it before the Supreme Court itself. And when we repeated it before the Supreme Court itself, we expected that the Supreme Court would give us the opportunity to respect and fulfill its judgment, because we have come before them saying that this is how we want to pay your judgment. We disagree with it, we will pursue it everywhere, but this is how we want to pay, because the law must be obeyed. It's not because I have accepted that I will pay, that's not because I have accepted the judgment. I have not accepted the judgment. But I have accepted to pay because it is lawful to do that. And we must do it. I'm not above the law. I'm not a King Kong. No. It's contrary. I am prepared to pay this money. But I have 5 years I have not worked. I have been going to court. Sometimes generally, some of you are chasing the cases. Times. It's true. Sometimes the case is the same case, is the same day, 2 different courts, the same time. This is the Attorney General who was pursuing me and doing all this against me. Today, because of convenience, some people are saying that I am in connivance with him. No, I can never be in connivance with him. With her. No way. I have an issue. And those issues are not why I'm here. The Attorney General of the Republic of Ghana understood for the first time that this matter can be resolved if a payment term is structured with me. And through my lawyers, the learned lawyer Anku managed hard for us to do the negotiation. And they said, before we could say Jack, there is an ex parte thing following us that we should appear to be orally examined. Who does not want me to pay this money? Who is behind all these things and trying to make sure that after Woyome they auction his things, they do it? I will not be done. I am a genuine businessman. I have never taken bribe before and have never given bribe. If you have anybody who say I have given you bribe, please, or you have given me bribe, let me know. I don't do that. Maybe that's why my case is there. But if you tell me I have been benevolent enough with a lot of people across board, because I don't think about people because of political line. I am a social democrat and I still believe in it. But I don't treat people because I am a social democrat. No. I deal with people on personal to personal levels. You can have your political belief, I have my own. But that should not determine how we live our life in this country. And I have lived above that. And that I don't need to tell you. Many of you right here, I cannot say, are beneficiary of my own largesse, not today, but from the time I came back to this country in 1999, 2001, and almost when I was the Vice Honorary Consul of Austria to Ghana. A lot of you also could remember that those period of time, I represented the Austrian president in the Ghana at 50, official. I have had dealings with President Kufuor on country-to-country basis. I have had dealings with the highest circular. I have heard that even if the people of Ghana Ghana have voted you into power. Whether you like it or not, this is our government. And therefore, I have stood to make sure that every government that is elected by the people succeed. It doesn't make me a member of that party. And they know it, and I've told them, and that is what I hate a lot of them. And it started a whole lot of things, which is the avalanche that we are seeing today. But notwithstanding that, the issue is about when we are fighting, where do we go? We go to the court, or there will be chaos. And this court must be protected. The law must be seen to be protecting everyone. Justice must be seen to be done to every manner of persons. And for this reason, I will continue fighting as I stated yesterday in my discourse with the press. To the last drop of my blood. That is what the Constitution says, and I will do that. I am not going to, I've not come over here to come and then talk about a particular person or that, but I'll talk to the issue. Sharing of money, who? The list that is going about, share money to who? And for what should you share money? If, for anything, these political players and people who have issues, they should come out and tell the nation what are the lists and how much and to whom, so that they will see how people will deal with them. I said it yesterday that one of the accounts was a money paid to Obi Amwa for a job he did for me. And even then, my own people who are the persecutors, also part of the persecutors, went after Obi Amwa, put him in a cell in the police headquarters, that he received a check from me. For what? He worked for me. He is an MPP. He worked for me. And he went and I paid him. So if you have knowledge about me and another NDC person who might have done something with me, my money is my money. I am not here. The court didn't say I should account, they should do anything, and that some people were saying his check number, so and so. This, what is it? Don't I leave? I work here and I employ people. You destroy much of the work, the business and everything. Look, Ghanaians, let me tell you, for a fact, before this case ends, I am envisaging, Ghana is going to pay a lot of money to me. But I will respect the Supreme Court, what they have said. Because the lies have been too much. And today, another media group, one guy was there, and he sponsored people to the World Cup. I did that before the judgment date. So, is it his money? Even if I did that during the judgment day, it's not his money. And it doesn't mean that judgment debt is only my money. This judgment debt was negotiated. So check the reason why it was negotiated. The reason why I accepted that 54 million should be given out. Because those 54 million belong to me as my profit and lost profit and lost interest on capital. The rest of the amount was done to pay vendors. And they are aware, including Matilamidu, that this so money has gone to a vendor, this so money has gone to this vendor, has gone to vendor. They've worked. So if the Supreme Court says, okay, you've received this money, you've paid vendors, that is what the government did to save Ghana a further 54 million in this judgment edition. You've paid this vendor and paid the other vendor and paid the other vendor. Which law says that the vendor should get the money? It was given to me at that time lawfully, and it was paid at that time lawfully. It is after that the Supreme Court says, and note it, it didn't say illegal. Please, don't put yourself into a legal position, because this time around we are watching every word. It said unconstitutional, which I've already addressed. It's not illegal. The Supreme Court said unconstitutional. Am I the one to enforce the Constitution if the person who signed those things shouldn't have enforced it? But the issue is that I have denied, and still continue to deny, is that I should be linked to the 2006 inoperative agreement. I went to court on 2005 agreement derived out of the bidding, which received concurrent approval. And judgments here have affirmed that, and I will read that. I'm sorry that I am disappointing you by not trying to say Mr. So-so-so, Mr. So-so-so. But unfortunately, the protagonist in this matter is Martin Amido. And I'll have to address him personally. I'll have to address him. It's unfortunate. It's not my style, but I'll have to talk about it. The Black Stars going to the World Cup in 2004 for the first time. If you care to know, check from the GFA, check from Woyome, and then you will understand that it is the same Alfred Woyome who make sure that they did not go and do any training in where they were supposed to be in Portugal. They were supposed to go to Portugal. I took them to Austria to train where Barcelona and all the people, all the big teams have been training in the city of Corinthia. The city, Corinthia, paid huge sums of money for that through me. Red Bull, which I was working with at that time, also paid huge sums of money for that. And I also paid money for that. After that, what happened? We managed to take, we gave them buses to travel, to cross the border into Germany to do the wonders that you saw. The training were done by experts which we paid for. To continue on that, flowing from that, we've established through Red Bull a soccer academy, which was at that time the best with AstroTurf. You can see now the Premier League has come from there. Sugar Puppet. Now, in the World Cup in South Africa, when I saw that football fans, including GFA officials throughout the country, and the Association of Old Black Star Players were stranded and left without anything, I was in Washington. I flew down and I said, no way, I'm a football enthusiast. It can't happen. And I spent my money, $1.8 million at that time. Made sure that I took Ghanaians, including MPP people, everybody, to South Africa. I will not speak about it, speak to the people and see how we treated them. If you could see, it was the late Kwashigan's wife. You can see who I contracted to feed the Ghanaians 3 times, and Cuban doctors and everything to make a medical camp. I had to do this for my own people, and I make sure that I attended to them like servants until each one of them returned to country before I flew back. Is it also a crime? I'm not running for an office and I don't intend to. No. I am determined that Ghana should succeed and it will succeed. I have been paid by the MPP government in doing similar things several. I have mentioned it over and over again. Begro Hospital, Gushegu Hospital, Sugakopo Hospital, many other things. I have, Stafford Mafu has stated in court that I have traveled with him internationally to make sure that Ghana is better. Not everything that you can be talking about it. Why that this particular issue, President Kufuor ordered that they should go to a cabinet and cancel this that have brought us here. I have always stated that I will not blame President Kufuor. Because when he invited me, when Francis Poku invited me, when others invited me, I insisted on what I wanted to do. And this, yes, let it go the way it's going. But at the end of it, they themselves will appreciate that what I stood for, I stand for it. Is it a crime to belong to a political party? Is it a crime to support a particular presidential candidate? So if so, your what do you call it, financial interest should be touched. It's in judgment. Okay? Something that is in judgment. So this Bulabalo, he's stealing money, our money, our money. Whose money? I'm also a Ghanaian. So if that money is also my money, but how did somebody derive it to be his money? The other erroneous issue is that they said the Auditor General has stated that the transaction was fraudulent. This is also a big untruth. The Auditor General, go for that report, recommended that those who have caused it should be sanctioned. Those who have caused it should be sanctioned. I have a problem with the Auditor General for reporting different figures and things like that. And we have written a letter to CTFM on that aspect. They should make that letter public and attachments. So correct that. The institutions of this country say they should go after those who have caused it. I don't want to blame anybody. To be a president of the Republic of Ghana is a very difficult issue. I don't want to, I've not been there, but judging from what happened, if President Kufuor took that decision and went to China to go and bring Chinese people whose contracts have never been sent, to Parliament, where he went and borrowed from Barclays Bank $100 million and over to build a facility that they told Ghanaians would have cost less than what was bidded for, which in turn became more than what was the bidding. To build those facilities and left the debt for NDC to come and pay. Who is hiding what from Ghanaians? Did the Chinese do a bidding? Did they send a Chinese document to them? Some people said that the loan was sent to the document. The loan, yes, you send it that you want to spend it. Did you send the contract of the Chinese? Why didn't Martin Amidu, having all this file, why didn't he bring the Chinese in? This very 100 million from Barclays Bank caused the then MD of Barclays to be sacked. That woman. Check your files. I don't want to go there and I will not allocate him blame. What I am trying to say is that to be a president is a difficult issue. Because President Kufuor might not have acted like that. The pressure on a president to do certain things sometimes can be too enormous. So I have taken it like that. And we are using the cross. And the issue is that the change of government, that is also erroneous. This issue have been looked into by the BNI under President Kufuor. Today, the current director of BNI also look at certain aspects of certain transactions of myself, for which he was nearly made a problem. They wanted me as a, and it didn't happen. I don't want to go there. Francis Poku's national security has also looked into this matter and they recommended I should be paid. So if I chose negotiation and negotiation failed and it came into a different government and it went that way and I went to court, where is the illegality and the stealing from them? My fellow countrymen and Ghanaians, please. Politics should be thrown aside of this matter. This matter is the essence of our relationship with business people and the business community. And it should be a responsibility of every Ghanaian to make sure that the right thing is done. Afro Woyome is determined to pay. Afro Woyome has arrived at a payment structure with the Republic of Ghana through its mandated, constitutionally mandated Attorney General, and Afro Woyome will pursue that by God's grace to make sure that the orders of the court are respected. Any other person making other remarks is untrue. Now, about the Supreme Court. I didn't intend to do this, but at the judgment of the 4th June 2013, I'm drawing your attention to pages 24 . 24. I will use this to build my case. The court stated, the learned Datiba, if he, that is me, is relying on a different contract, then of course, this court will have no jurisdiction in this matter because there will be no issue of constitutional interpretation. The task will fall to the High Court to determine the existence or otherwise of the contract under which he is making his claim. This has been done. It has been established. If, however, the third defendant is relying on the restitutionary claim related to the ineffective 2008 Stadia contract, which is not part of what I relied on. Now, he went about to talk about the loss of restitution and all that. So I'm directing you to that place. Go to pages 26 of the same thing. They said the third defendant, me, statement of case, the third defendant indicates clearly that he is not relying on the two. My statement of case before the Supreme Court, I stated clearly that I'm not relying on the two terminated and 2000 agreements. But neither, then the law is saying that, the judge is saying that neither does he furnish sufficient evidence of an independent contract on which he relies. He's trying to build his case that I am not relying on that, but I have not also brought, because I didn't send the case there. Somebody sent for a constitutional interpretation, but I mean, it's misled them. So ours was, we were responding to the questions of law in that matter. Then, if you read that portion, then you can come to page 32. The learned judge, Datiba, is saying that the plaintiff, which is Matiamidu, for instance, the plaintiff says in his statement of case that, in paragraph 27, that the plaintiff maintains that, that's Matiamidu, in his original case to the Supreme Court, that he maintains that throughout the substance of the transaction between the second defendant, whatever, and then the government of Ghana, the third and the fourth defendant were merely agents of the second defendant. That's what he stated. We were merely agents. And we're not privy to the two contracts. That's him. Martin Amidu says we're not privy to the two contracts dated 26 April 26 or any other contract. That is his statement. That is his statement. You see, so if you see this were what was before Datiba, then we can come back to page 52 of the same judgment. Here in page 52 is where the learned judge, Justice Duchi, came with his what we call concurring opinion. And I want to use his own words so that you will understand that if you are using and quoting Justice Duchi to malign me, what he did was an opinion in the court. It was not part of the judgment. And therefore you are on your own. You are on your own. I will state here what he himself stated in the first paragraph. He said, even though I fully agree with the entire judgment delivered by the most respected brother, Datiba JS, and the conclusion reached in this epoch-making decision, he called it epoch-making decision, I feel constrained to add the following words of my own, underline, words of my own. You see? So if, and in this, he went out to call create, loot, and share, and all that. Okay? Page 56. We'll buttress is further. he concluded in page 56 that, however, since I fully agree with the decision of my brother that they buy JSC, that's Doji, not to grant the relief against the third defendant, basically because of jurisdictional reasons, I will echo his sentiments that once the matter is currently pending before other courts, namely the Financial Division of the High Court and the Commercial Court, it is the expectation of this court that the principal actors in those cases would put up their best in the prosecution of the cases. He agreed that the thing must go to the lower courts, but he was trying to tell people that they must put their effort. And the effort, you all know, you were reporting it. Major issues, you were not saying it to the public, but other issues, you know here that you were reporting it, and every major thing. Opportunity was given to the opposition, like Safo, other people, to appear. And they all made their own contribution. Like Safo, he said that the decision to terminate and stop the contracting was done by 28 people against only one man. And that he was now, by a cabinet decision, bound by that, albeit it's illegal. Check the court records. And then you will understand what I mean by that. So it was fairly contested by what Datibai, Justice Duchi had advised. Now, in page 58 of that same judgment, Justice Duchi went further to say, it is therefore important trial courts must be on alert to prevent cases where collision can occur and ensure that they act as watchdogs not only of the public purse but also protective of the rights of any person who appears before them. The right of any person who appears before them. If my right have been protected not only by the High Court, but have been affirmed by the Court of Appeal, why then is it that I am turned to something else? Now, the drama began when the justice, in a week or two after this, let me quote Duce epoch judgment, went on retirement. Then I was said that there was going to be a review of the decision. So I was advised by the lawyers that it's very difficult for anything of that nature to happen. But that was wrong. That's where we are now. That's where we are now. And currently, that's what we are fighting. Justice Doche is the one who said creativity and share, which are not part of the judgment. I was shocked that he didn't recuse himself in the city. But rather, he became the one who authored and wrote the judgment of the review. I'm sorry, but it's important so that you report, because I can see my lady there yawning. Yes, but it's important that you understand this. Ghanaians and the listeners, they want to know. They want to know, and they must know. Yes. In page 35 of the Supreme Court review decision, Justice Duche writes, as matters stand now, there is a real danger. There is what? A real danger that a high court, which is the appropriate forum that this court referred to, may instead give a contrary and conflicting decision quite apart from what this court has given. I was shocked. I was shocked. So, on the basis of this, every everything down there except the criminal case was truncated by the Supreme Court, where evidence were being taken. Because somebody came for a constitutional interpretation in front of you. We came as part of law. You have not examined any evidence of the case. The judgment, you all agree that must go there so that evidence is taken. What is the right duty of those courts? And by each appellate system, it may come back to you. Why don't you wait? Truncated it because of the fear that they may come into a contrary decision of what the Supreme Court will be giving and conflicting. So was the mind made up? What evidence was before the Supreme Court? Now, he said the review application, in our opinion, is an opportunity for the Supreme Court to level up the playing field and give one harmonious judgment for all the persons connected with 26 2008 Stadium agreements and other related matters to know their position and bring everything to closure. Yes, I agree that there must be a closure to litigation, but litigation which has never been adjudicated properly, a litigation where evidence has not been taken, witnesses come and talk about and things like that, you can bring a closure to it. I disagree. Respectfully, my laws of the Supreme Court erred. Then a third reason again, brother, it must be noted that the Supreme Court is the court of last resort for all, which is true, especially when the case is touching and concerning a review, where after that you may not have an opportunity again. Therefore, the Supreme Court must not only ensure that there is substantial justice for all, but see to it that it is applied to all. My rights having, they have not applied justice to me. I will go further to prove why I'm saying so. They have not. So right now, I am saying that the Supreme Court has not applied justice to me. The tendency where state funds and resources are allowed to be dissipated must be brought to an end. I agree totally. That's why those who have caused all these things must be sanctioned. They must be sanctioned. Money has time value. People don't work their money for a country and have track record with the same country, and then you do what you want to do, irrespective of whatever pressure it is, that I will not go before the court. So, about this Supreme Court decision, the learned Supreme Court judge, Dasteba, you have to read this book, Reflections of the Supreme Court of Ghana. Dasteba came back and said, I said it yesterday in this, that he said that what they did, the power on which they used to come for this conclusion is erroneous and they've erred. And he said it was dangerous, very dangerous, and that we Ghanaians should speak to it. I wish that our lawyers will take this book seriously and read pertaining to, specifically on the Woyome case. So I am not the one talking about it. Now I'll come back to further story about this. Since they did not stop the case from the criminal case, where evidence were being taken, the criminal case, the Attorney General of the Republic of Ghana, under 12 hours, when judgment was given in my favor, a person I'm supposed to be colluding with, goes again to the Court of Appeal, that she is not satisfied. She wanted me jailed. A person who wanted me jailed today become my friend. Yes, I have forgiven her because the truth had come out. As the Attorney General of the Republic of Ghana, and that was her position, that was her understanding at that time. So with that understanding, it does not mean the Supreme Court has ordered, I will not negotiate with them who are by law and by constitution mandated to discuss and obey the Supreme Court order, albeit it that I am not satisfied with it and I will chase it everywhere. They are the people mandated, so it's erroneous. Now let's come back to this judgment of the Republic, which is the appellant, versus Afro-Nagbesi Woyome responded. But the Republic sent it there. So to say that they were doing nothing, they have not been, it's also erroneous. It's not true. You've witnessed a fellow citizen harassed, embarrassed, insulted, given no chance for 5 years, and you are jubilating. What kind of people are we? What kind of people? On what facts? On what basis? Which money? From where? The Supreme Court says a citizen should pay money under duress, and I am going to do that. And I am fighting it to show that that decision was erroneous. They erred. I beg to differ, they erred. And I am saying that I feel that they have trampled upon my right. I feel persecuted by them. How can I? You see, I am in a bit of a shock when I open this thing. 3 judges who have looked into all the evidence adduced to them, and all of them unanimous. And I'm going to read to you at page 78 of that judgment, the last paragraph. The learned judges came back and said, they said, I'll quote, then under cross-examination, the PW8 virtually answered all the scores of questions held at him by the defense counsel to be in favor of the respondent, me. There is a huge mass of evidence on record to confirm that the claim of the respondent and the scores of documents exchanged between the respondent and the Republic were copied to all those who mattered in this intriguing of cases. It is not that the decision to pay the respondent was taken in the secrecy of a closet. This is the judgment. The letters emanating from the law office were copied not only to the ministries of finance, Controller and Accountant General, the Solicitor General, and the Bank of Ghana, etc., but right to the seat of government. It is very difficult to